from the dark side there is.
Guilty on all counts. John Wayne Gacy is sentenced to death.
So I decided to take a break from holiday looks because honestly I was just getting like flustered with them, and a lot of them were just kind of the same. So I'm moving on to emotions for right now, and then I'll probably go back to holiday looks. In between emotions and the 7 deadly sins looks I have lined up.
Gacy continues to garner media attention while incarcerated.
In prison, Gacy began to paint. And
For my YouTube channel, people, today's true crime episode we are watching is on John Wayne Gacy.
Scheduled on May 10th,
Almost over, unfortunately,
1994,
but
draws crowds.
that's what we're
Inside the
watching
prison,
today.
John Wayne Gacy eats his last meal of Kentucky Fried Chicken and is then escorted to the death chamber. Gacy is then executed via lethal injection.
Gacy's final words, "Kiss my ass."
One of the mothers of one of the victims, Grace, she died before Gacy did. And that was kind of hard to take. She never, satisfaction, whatever you want to call it, was able to see Gacy actually suffer from what he did to her.
It's been decades since his heinous crimes. And to this day, there are bodies that have not yet been identified.
As people continue to investigate the John Wayne Gacy case, there is potential evidence that suggests Gacy didn't act alone.
Gacy does mention there were others who had keys to his place. It seems unlikely that all these bodies could be buried under his house and these workers not know anything about them.
Likewise, there is speculation that Gacy possibly buried victims' bodies underneath the apartment building where his mother lived.
I got involved in the case because a retired detective had a story that I thought was interesting and said that he had seen John Wayne Gacy at 3 in the morning with a shovel. And I talked to a kid who had worked for John Wayne Gacy. I talked to a neighbor, and they had similar stories that Gacy was digging holes in the middle of the night, which seemed very odd at this apartment building.
Decades later, the investigation lingers as families of the missing continue to hope for answers.
There are some people who would like to see that property be dug up to just know once and for all if there were any other victims buried. I'm not sure we'll ever get all the answers, but it makes you want to push to find some of these answers to at least try and get some closure for some families.
This program contains graphic violence and sexual situations. Viewer discretion is advised. In 1990, a quiet university town is terrorized by an unknown madman. Over a blood-spattered 4-day period, he rapes, murders, and mutilates 5 attractive young girls.
He created in the community a sense that no one was safe.
His atrocities are savage and intended to shock authorities.
He would cut off body parts, pose them, decapitate them.
One victim was stabbed 31 times.
But as secret audio recordings made by the killer reveal, his motives are even darker and more sophisticated.
There's a tremendous amount of nihilism in his voice.
He enjoyed these crimes. It was empowering to him.
The case involves mass panic at a major university.
There's a maniac on the loose, and no one knows who he is or when he'll strike again.
A flurry of false accusations.
I became the target of lead detectives in the case after their murders.
And crime scene photos so ghastly, police will intentionally destroy them.
I had nightmares for ages after these photographs.
Meet Danny Rowling, a.k.a.
Let that,
the Gainesville
you need to let that
Ripper.
set.
Just a drifter who wandered into town until murder made him famous. Powell, the girls are roommates, just starting their freshman year.
So today's look is emotions, obviously. It's red. Red signifies power and dominance, anger, and passion,
With the school
and
year
love.
starting, the wait list for
So,
getting new phone lines activated.
We'll be doing
is
a red
long.
look today.
Both girls use payphones or other means to call home.
Yes, we're fine. We're putting the phone line in next week.
Keep in mind that this was 1990. There's no texting, And cell phones are really rare. So you had to wait for your landline to be installed, and until it was pretty isolated.
Okay. I gotta go. Christina's waiting on me.
Shut
I
up!
love you too. Bye.
Come on, let's go. Grandma, can I help?
Sure. Brakes are in the garage.
Okay.
So many knives. So little time.
All natural botanicals, mix them up and froze them immediately to capture their flavors. New Mexicals frozen botanical drink mixers in ice cube form. Just choose your flavor and add your favorite spirit, wine, or seltzer for perfect craft cocktails every single time. 5 delicious flavor combos like orange blossom passion fruit, cranberry rose, and more. Step up your craft cocktail game with new Mexicals frozen botanicals.
Hot Ready Classic. We actually changed it with
Changed, Little Caesars. You've changed. It changed, blood, bro. Changed, Karate Man. How can you dance during a time like this? It changed. Ah! Tell me why.
it tastes even better because we added 33% more pepperoni.
Give me one of those.
Well, get a workout with the new Hot Ready Classic with 33% more pepperoni pizza.
This is the move right here. Boom. Boom.
My turn. My bag of chips. Here comes that.
I think we have different definitions of sharing.
That's neither.
Wow. Soldiers. As darkness falls across Gainesville, the shadowy figure who has been stalking the young co-ops.
Shut up! Damn dogs, man. Guys, come on!
The killer pulls out his slot-head screwdriver and tries the doorknob. To his surprise, it's unlocked. Inside, he finds Christina Powell asleep on the couch. Upstairs, Sonia Larson is asleep in her bed.
Oh, my nose is those of us just joining, it is the Gainesville River right now.
Sonia wakes just as the figure slaps a piece of duct tape across her mouth. He plunges a knife repeatedly into her body until she stops moving. He moves downstairs and approaches the sleeping Christina Powell. Unlike Sonia, the man has other plans for Christina.
He viciously rapes Christina, and then he turns her over and stabs her in the back several times.
Neighbors later report hearing thuds and loud music coming from the girl's apartment.
Sadly, Sonia and Christina's neighbors said that he heard loud music and banging, but he just thought maybe they were hanging up pictures in their new place. As the sun came up, it got really hot. Remember, this is Florida in August, and a lot of people smell something rancid coming out of Sonia and Christina's apartment, but nobody investigated.
As other residents of the complex continue to party and move in, apartment 113 stays eerily dark and quiet.
None of the other residents of this apartment knew that 2 girls had been brutally murdered next door, and their bodies were still there.
According to Mary Rysuk's book, The Gainesville Ripper, friends leave notes on Sonia and Christina's front door, asking where they are. Meanwhile, the killer is searching for his next victim.
Now let your
within
foundation
hours
set.
of the first murder.
That's something I promise you I'm going to let you know. I know this is different. Hang in there for me. Wait right here, okay? Dispatch 11, Mary 7.
Go ahead, 11 Mary 7.
Yeah, I'm at the Williamsburg Village Apartments. I've got an apparent double homicide requesting backup units and detectives.
Copy that. Backup to the room.
Better get a crisis team here, too. I've got parents on the scene.
Copy that.
10-4 dispatch.
First responders and forensics teams are ill prepared for what they find inside.
Both girls had been brutally stabbed, and Christina had been raped and her breast had been mutilated.
He had an unusual habit of needing to remove the girls' nipples.
But the killer took the atrocities even one step further.
In the case of several of the victims, female victims, they were mutilated and bodies were displayed.
Police find Sonia Larson's dead body provocatively posed on the bed with her legs parted.
While he's posing that body, he's kind of future framing how somebody's going to react to this, and he's going to get a smile on his face while he's posing that body, knowing he's going to get that effect from someone else.
Christina Powell's bloody and mutilated body has also been sexually posed. There is evidence that the killer had tried to cover his DNA tracks.
The killer manipulated the crime scene. What he attempted to do is clean up the crime scene, eliminate evidence.
Investigators found a bottle of dish detergent by Christina's open legs. The killer had used it in an attempt to destroy any DNA evidence that he may have left in her private area.
Cost could come back at any time.
I think we best keep living in peace with it.
This is my family, and I will not let you take me away.
So at AT&T, everyone gets our best deals.
Aren't others doing that?
Others say that, but not everyone gets the best deal. Like, what if I give you a lollipop? Then I give you our best lollipop.
That's not fair.
At AT&T, we think it's only fair that all customers get our best deals. And you get a choice of plans.
She said everyone.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives both new and existing customers our same best deals, like up to $800 off our most popular smartphones.
As police investigate the gruesome murders, word spreads quickly throughout Gainesville.
Of course, because this was Florida, in everyone's mind was, is this another Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy, the infamous serial killer who murdered 30 women from 1974 to 1978. He was executed in 1989.
They hadn't forgotten what Bundy had done, and it spread through campus like wildfire when the first 2 victims' bodies were found.
Like Ted Bundy, the killer behind the Gainesville slaying stalks college students as his prey. Police have no clue who's behind the crimes. But in reality, the murderer is a drifter by the name of Danny Rolling.
Danny Harold Rolling was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, to a father that was a police officer, but was also a horrible, violent, abusive man. He terrorized Danny and his mother pretty much without equal
Shut up! You were a mistake. Your mother never should have had you.
James Rowling's abuse of his children is non-stop, including handcuffing and beating Danny and his younger brother.
He made it apparent to Danny throughout his whole childhood that he never wanted him, he demeaned him, humiliated him, and physically abused him.
As Danny grows up, he shows signs of troubling behavior.
He's certainly a sociopath with all sorts of disorders. You name them, he can fill a book on the disorders that Danny suffered from.
Danny did drugs, drank, was a peeping Tom. Danny used any and every means at his disposal to escape from both his home life as well as reality.
In the mid-70s, Rowling marries and sires a daughter.
Shut
Around
up!
1977, his wife divorces him and takes their little girl. According to Rowling's mother, after that, he, quote, just lost it.
Danny couldn't hold down a job for long. So what he did was he progressed to robbing people and businesses. These are signs of more extreme and worse actions which are to come.